Hey guys, it's Monday and it's time for Free App Mondays. I'm still on the road. Wasn't able to do a live stream on Friday because I was busy doing work on the road. It just wasn't going to happen. Anyway, so I'm back today. I got a couple of plugins for Free App Mondays. Some from Friday and some for today. Still dealing with compressors. Guys, when you get a chance, please check out my series on PC specs and how it relates to music production. There's 6 parts. The link for the video playlist is there. It'll have the old version that I did of the series in 2015, I think, and it'll also have the current one that I did for this year, 2021. Part 1 was on CPU, part 2 was on RAM, part 3 was on hard drive and storage, part 4 was on your GPU, part 5 was on your audio interface, and part 6 was just a short video talking about MIDI. So when you get a chance, check that video out. So like I said, I'm on the road, and this setup is very janky, dinky, weird, but we're gonna make it work. So the free app for this Monday is dealing with some compressors. So we got here number 1 on the list. I'm just going to run through them real quick. I don't have any audio examples because once again I'm on the road and things are a little bit funny. But anyway, so we got Kotelnikov, and this one is from TDR Records, TDR Labs. There we go. TDR Records is the name of their label, and then they have the development side that's called TDR Labs. So this is a developer I spoke about before. They have Nova, which is a dynamic EQ. So this is their compressor. It is a very, very, very clean compressor. Very good. I use it a lot. I actually use it in my master chain because it's so clean. And you have, all basic controls you will need for everyday compression. Although this is a pretty advanced compressor. So you have right here at the beginning, we can set the low frequency relax, which is basically you telling the compressor not to pay attention to certain low frequencies, so you can filter out what the compressor is listening to. It will not affect what your signal sounds like. It's just going to affect what the compressor is hearing. So in situations where you are compressing something with a lot of low end information, sometimes the low end is causing the compressor to overreact. So sometimes it's good to have this feature where you can filter out some of that low end frequency to not get the compressor to overreact, because it's reacting to all the low frequency information and then it's destroying everything else in the mids and the highs with how it's compressing. So you have that here. We got stereo sensitivity. We have your threshold, peak crest, soft knee. We have ratio, attack, release, and we have release RMS. Over here, you're going to have your readout with your gain amount and gain reduction. We have makeup gain here, a dry wet mix right here for parallel compression. And we have output gain. I forgot what this delta button does, but it bypasses something. I don't know. I think it bypasses the signal and just lets you hear the compression signal. I think that's what it does. Don't quote me on that. Check the manual. But that's Kotelnikov, guys. Check it out. The link is in the description for all these plugins, of course. So check them out. Now this is the DD compressor from Dead Duck Software, which is another company I've talked about before. They have a pretty decent bundle of effect plugins, and this is one of them. So the DD compressor is, once again, another straightforward everyday compressor. So we got your input levels. You can adjust the input levels, threshold, ratio, attack, trim, which is basically for you to trim the low end like we had on the last compressor, basically to affect what the compressor is reacting to. And we have release over here. Listen is where you can listen to your sidechain signal, and you can also set it to external and route where the compressor is reacting to an external source and not the source of the channel that it's on. That's more of a creative routing thing when you want to do some other tricks with your compressor like ducking. And then you have makeup gain here and the mix. So moving right along, we have these series of plugins, the GTA series from a company, well, the GT series from a developer called De La Mancha. So with this is a basic compressor that they have. And based on my notes here, let's look at the notes real quick. This one is a vintage compressor with parallel compression. And the thing about this one is it has very, very fast attack times and release times, which is 0 millisecond. And it goes all the way up to 500 milliseconds on the attack and 2000 milliseconds, which is also 2 seconds on the release time. We have your ratio going all the way up to 60. We have output gain and your wet and dry mix for parallel compression. Over here, we'll have the meter, and based on which of these switches you have on, you can monitor your in, your output, or your gain reduction. So the next thing, I'm figuring this plugin is from the same series, GTA, but they made this one after because they added more features. So this compressor now is the GTX. And this one is a vintage style RMS compressor. And basically you can set it up where it reacts to the RMS as opposed to the peak of the signal, which is a more smoother response because it's kind of averaging the peaks over time as opposed to kind of just reacting to every peak instantly. The way it interprets the signal is different. So if you're going for a smoother compression, this is going to achieve that goal. So also here, if you notice, they added the option to switch from an external or internal signal. Once again, external signals will allow for some creative routing for things like ducking. Everything else is pretty self-explanatory. We got the input gain. We have your ratio settings, which goes all the way down to -60. Sorry, this is the threshold. This is the ratio. Ratio goes to 60, 1:1, 60:1. We have your attack time as fast as 0 milliseconds all the way to 500. Once again, release time goes to 2000 milliseconds. We have RMS. Sorry about the siren, guys. I'm in the city. That's what happens. Jeez, that's loud. Brooklyn. So we have RMS, which is the main selling point of this one, the difference. And we have a knee. Link and unlink, I'm not sure what that's for. Check out the manual. We got the knee settings and shape settings for the knee. Over here we have your wet dry for some parallel compression. There's a limit switch, which I'm figuring they have a limiter built in. Input output gain. We have your output gain right here. Input gain over here. And then once again we have the meter where you can monitor your input, your output, and your gain reduction. And the third one is GTO. Now the GTO is another vintage style, but this is a peak compressor. Once again, similar to the one we just looked at, the GTX. It does pretty much the same thing, but we realize that we don't have the RMS knob and those RMS settings. So you have everything else is pretty much the same, so I'm not gonna go through it. It's a different color. It says GTO. It's missing a knob. You get it, guys. And last but not least, from Klanghelm, one of my favorite compressors is the MJUC Jr. So this one mimics typical hardware compressors out there, kind of like that level amp style compressor. The settings are pretty simple. And if you click, just like with all the Klanghelm plugins, if you click on the meter, it bypasses the plugin, as well as if you click on the power button, it'll bypass the plugin. It'll turn it off, basically. Down here with the time, you have very limited controls over the time. You have fast, slow, or auto. Auto is program dependent, so it's going to react based on the signal that's going through. And it'll, based on the algorithms, it automatically will adjust your attack and release times. So it is program dependent, and all you have to do is just push up the compression knob, which is a combination of threshold and ratio. That's usually what these knobs are glued to when you just see one knob that says compression. And then we have your makeup gain over here, gain reduction meter, and that's pretty much it. I really like this one. I use it a lot on vocals and vocal buses. It's a very smooth compressor, and it has a little bit of tone to it. So definitely check out all these compressors, guys. Add them to your arsenal. I think I might be continuing with compressors later on this week on Wednesday. So check back on Wednesday for free app Wednesdays. I do this every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, where I bring you free apps, free plugins, free DAWs, and things of that nature to help you along with your musical endeavors and adventures. So thanks for watching, guys. And as always, you will see or hear me in the next video.